So the Portland Pirates are back yet again, and of course with it being the Portland Pirates, they're not going to have any players. They have lost all their players once again, and all they're left with is 36 overall players. But don't worry, we're going to be able to rebuild this team, and we're going to be able to win them a Stanley Cup. Well, how are we going to do that? Well, we're going to add one random NHL player every season. So what do I mean by we're going to add one random NHL player each season? Well, it's actually working out with our first spin. We're going to be adding a first line right winger. Now, which first line right winger are we going to be adding? Well, now we got to spin the wheel of NHL teams. So we know we're going to be walking away with a first line right winger, but which team are they going to be coming from? The Anaheim Ducks. Yeah, it's not really ideal. So I'm on dailyfaceoff.com, and that's what we're going to be using for the line combinations. And it looks like the first line right winger on the Anaheim Ducks is going to be Troy Terry. I guess Troy Terry isn't the end of the world, but considering what some of the other options were, I'd rather have taken them over Troy Terry. But you know what? It's better than having a 0 overall, that's for sure. So Troy Terry, 86 overall, is going to be the first player to join the Portland Pirates. Are you going to be able to lead us to one shot this season? Because we're not talking about goals here. We're not even talking about wins. We're just looking at shots. Can you take a single shot with this team? Probably not. I can almost guarantee you don't. So Troy Terry, welcome to the Portland Pirates. However, you're not going to be enough here. This team's going to lose every game. We're not going to take a single shot. It's going to be an absolute dumpster fire. So it's absolutely no surprise the Portland Pirates are dead last in the entire league. We didn't score any goals. Of course, we didn't win any games. This team was an absolute dumpster fire. The real question is, Troy Terry, were you able to take a single shot this season? You took 5 shots with the team. All right, I was sleeping on Troy Terry. I did not think it would be possible for him to take 5 shots, considering nobody else in this team can do anything. These guys can't even skate. Also, I just want to point out, Snoopy was only minus 143. That was the best on this team by far. So shout out to Snoopy. He was definitely holding it down. And then when it came to our goaltenders, they posted numbers. Yep, these are certainly numbers here. Don't know how you posted goals against of almost 20, but you know what? That's just the way she goes sometimes. And to make this season even more unrealistic, the Toronto Maple Leafs have beaten the Dallas Stars in the Stanley Cup final. Alright, I think it's time we relax a little bit. Before we move on to our next wheel spin though, we got a quick word from today's sponsor. Now I want to thank EA Sports for sponsoring today's video. NHL 25 is now live on Xbox Game Pass Ultimate with EA Play starting today. So that means you guys are going to be able to jump into Chell, hit the ice, and experience some of the most realistic hockey yet. Now you might be questioning stick on the ice when I say this is the most realistic hockey yet. Well, explain to me how I simulated the playoffs and the greatest franchise of all time and the greatest team in the league right now, the St. Louis Blues, went on to win the Stanley Cup. If that's not realistic, I don't know what is. So to celebrate NHL 25 now being on Xbox Game Pass, I'm going to be giving away a 1-month Xbox Game Pass code. So all that you're going to have to do to enter is follow me on Twitter, like and retweet the tweet, link down below, and then comment who you think is going to win the Stanley Cup this year. So once again, I want to thank EA Sports for sponsoring today's video. Like, I can live with this team not scoring any goals. That's realistic, but the Toronto Maple Leafs winning a Stanley Cup, things are getting out of hand. It looks like the next thing we're going to be adding is a third pairing right defenseman. Now, truthfully, in a situation like this, we really can't be walking away with a bad player. Toronto's actually probably one of the better selections here because we might be walking away with a pretty solid defenseman. So there is a chance, just a slight chance, that stick on the ice might have been slightly yapping. I thought we were going to be walking away with a great defenseman here. I was thinking Brandon Carlo, Chris Tanev. I know they play on the right side. Maybe we'll walk away with Jake McCabe. Jake McCabe is hurt, so we're getting Philippe Myers. That's what we're walking away with. Injuries suck. Now, of course, there's a couple things I'm not really too happy about. One, getting Philippe Myers, because he is certainly not going to be helping the Portland Pirates a ton here. The second thing is because we've landed on the Toronto Maple Leafs and brought Myers to the team, we can't land on the Toronto Maple Leafs again. So we're going to be walking away with 75 overall Philippe Myers. Ryan Reeves is the same overall as this man. We're in the trenches. Now, Philippe Myers, you might be a third pairing defenseman, but on this team, you're going to be our first line center. That makes absolutely no sense considering your faceoff is a 55, but you can't be worse than what we have here, because we have all 0 overalls except for you and Troy Terry. So yeah, let's see if we can pick up a goal this season. Myers, Rigby, Troy Terry. It's time for y'all to do the impossible. Alright, apparently NHL 25 saw Philippe Myers play 1 game as our center, and they said, nah, we've seen enough here. The game's freezing. So yeah, let's go ahead and spin that wheel of positions again. No, like real talk, they saw Philippe Myers play 1 minute at center and they said, you know what, we've seen enough here. I thought we were going to get a first line center. Instead, we're getting a third pairing left defenseman. So we got the right defenseman with our last spin. It's time to get the left defenseman. Now, I want to say it's not possible for us to get a worse player than Philippe Myers, but it could be very possible here. Montreal has me a little bit concerned. Now, Montreal, off the top of my head, I actually can't think who your third pairing left defenseman is. So I'm going to find out. It's not Michael Matheson. It's not Kane Gooley, but I knew that. Who is it going to be? Jaden Struble. I feel like Jaden Struble isn't that bad though. I don't think he's a superstar. Well, I know he's not a superstar, but I feel like he's higher than a 75 overall. I could be completely wrong here, but I feel like that isn't terrible considering we got a third pairing defenseman. Now, Jaden Struble, I have no clue what your overall is right now, but it better be higher than a 75 overall. We can't have multiple 75 overall defensemen on our team. Well, we've already reached a 79 overall, and I'm yet to see your name here, so now I'm starting to get a little bit concerned. 78 overall. That's not bad whatsoever. As the third pairing defenseman, I just need you to play a couple minutes for us. So yeah, I'll definitely take a 78 overall here. Jaden Struble, Troy Terry, Philippe Myers. That's our first line right now because we have nothing else. Now just look at this spectacular team right here. Philippe Myers, Troy Terry, Jaden Struble. You already know this team's winning 0 games. Yeah, I'm not gassing this up. I can't gas this up whatsoever. To be fair, we're going to be lucky if we can get through the first 3 games without this game crashing. Now, I think we got to celebrate the little achievements here. The Portland Pirates, of course, we didn't win any games, but we scored 20 goals. 20 goals this season, 0.24 goals per game. We're moving in the right direction here. Troy Terry, 20 points. He was on the ice for all the goals. 10 goals, 10 assists. Jaden Struble, he's picking up 16 points. Philippe Myers, he's picking up 14. Tom Majors, one of our 0 overall players, he's getting 3 points this season. Sassy's picking up a point. Charlie Brown's got a point. Kaz Kalinkas has got a point. The entire team's stepping up here. And then when it comes to goaltending, they didn't step up whatsoever. They were still terrible this season. The Florida Panthers are going to be Stanley Cup champions, taking down the Edmonton Oilers. It's good to see a little bit of success for the boys, but we got to see some more success here. Let's spin the wheels again. So it's good to see the team scoring some goals here, but we need some elite players. We're not getting an elite player from the 4th line. I can tell you that right now. Unless I'm just completely unfamiliar with some superstar 4th line player, I don't think we're getting anything good, and we're certainly not going to get anything good from this team on the 4th line. They're terrible right now. Like, actually atrocious. Like, somehow the Buffalo Sabres are ahead of you in the standings. I knew Boston was going to struggle after the trade deadline, but this is absurd. So when it comes to Boston's 4th line right winger, I can live with this. Cole Koepke really isn't that bad. He's probably like a 78 overall, 79 overall. So I'll certainly take that for our 4th line. Like, yeah, there are better options on this team, such as David Pastrnak, but we can't get David Pastrnak because we've already got our 1st line right winger. So that's a bit of a disappointment. Pavel Zacha wouldn't have been that bad. Casey Milstat wouldn't have been terrible. But Cole Koepke, I can certainly live with that selection. Now, there is one thing that has me a little bit concerned. Cole Koepke, you're now going to be one of the best players on this team at a 79 overall. The fact that a 79 overall is currently one of the best players on this team, yeah, it's not giving me a lot of promise. So now that we have another forward for Troy Terry to play alongside, Cole Koepke and Troy Terry are going to be playing some forward minutes for us. When it comes to defense, Struble and Philippe Myers are going to be holding down the first pairing here. So if you were to ask me, I expect this team to actually be worse this season just because we're going to have a 0 overall playing on the 1st line, but technically we are better. So even if we don't perform better this season, in reality we are. Now, because we had a 0 overall player on our 1st line, I thought we were going to be worse this season. We actually were better. 22 goals scored this season, 0.27 goals per game. The team impressed me here. Cole Koepke, Troy Terry, you guys stepped up in ways I didn't expect. Cole Koepke, 17 points, 5 goals, 12 assists. He was the real heart and soul of this team. A stick on the ice legend. Without this man, this team's never going to see any success. And then when it comes to goaltending, we got to pick up a goaltender one of these days. Ricky Flair, Eric Hartman, you're not holding it down for me. You guys have actually been so incredibly bad that you're actually breaking records. You've been breaking records every year because of those save percentages and because of those goals against. It's really impressive. The Dallas Stars, Stanley Cup champions, well, that's going to be the Portland Pirates in probably 20, 25 years, give or take. So clearly, we're still a long ways away from winning a Stanley Cup, but that could change right here. Never mind, it will not be changing right here. 3rd line right winger. I need some top 6 players here. You got to give that to me eventually. But you just never know who you're going to find on a 3rd line, though. Like, we might still be walking away with a pretty solid player. Vegas has got some great talent, and you never know, they might have a stud on the 3rd line that I don't know about. Like, sometimes you just forget about who's playing on what line. If you were to ask me who's on Vegas's 2nd line, I would have said William Karlsson, but that's clearly not the case. He's playing 3rd line minutes. Brandon Saad, Brett Howden, and Pavel Dorfia. If you asked me to name Vegas's 2nd line, I would have maybe got Pavel Dorfia right. I definitely wouldn't have said Brett Howden. I definitely would have said Brandon Saad, even though they've been playing really solid. So when it comes to a 3rd line right winger, who are we going to be walking away with? Well, one of the original misfits, we got Riley Smith. So we're bringing one of the original misfits to the Portland Pirates. Of course, that's going to be Riley Smith, 84 overall. He's now the 2nd highest overall player on this team, right behind Troy Terry, who's an 86. We've got a handful of snipers on this team. Now we just need some playmakers. Now with the addition of Riley Smith, we officially have 5 players on the ice who aren't 0 overalls. We have a complete forward line and a complete defensive pairing. However, the only thing we don't have here is a goaltender. So Ricky Lafleur, I need you to have a historic season. And a historic season in a good way, don't have a goals against of over 18 again. I would appreciate that. Now it's kind of unfortunate, but until we get a goaltender here, this team's not going to be able to win any games. 45 goals this season isn't great by any means, but you know what? If we had a goaltender, we might have been able to sneak out an overtime loss or maybe even a win if that goaltender stood on his head and picked up a shutout. Troy Terry, 20 goals, 18 assists for 38 points. Riley Smith, he's also going to be picking up 38 points. And Cole Koepke, he's picking up 34 points. So our first line was really good this season. Well, really good considering the rest of the team is a 0 overall. And then when it comes to the goaltending here, Ricky Lafleur, you had a goals against of over 18 once again. I asked you not to have a goals against over 18, and you proceed to have a goals against of 18.12. Now you let me down there. The Vancouver Canucks Stanley Cup champions, but I think it's time we bring in a goaltender, or a number 1 center, or a number 1 left winger, or any player that can play on the second line, or even a top pairing defenseman. Yeah, there's technically a lot we could bring to this team. So I was talking about wanting a goaltender, but really I could use anything here. Give me a first line left winger, second pairing left defenseman. I mean, we need these players, but yeah, I want a first line player. Like, give me a star player or something. I mean, it is possible that we could be walking away with a really good second pairing defenseman here. The Winnipeg Jets might have that. Josh Morrissey, I assume you're on the first pairing, but I did see Lane Hudson was technically playing second pairing minutes, so who knows who we're going to be picking up. Now, I can almost guarantee we're not getting Josh Morrissey here. Clearly, he's going to be playing first line minutes, but who is going to be the next player up for us? Dylan Samberg. You're kidding me, right? We're getting Dylan Samberg. Like, I just want to point out, when you look at Montreal's defense, Caden Gooley would have been a great pickup. Lane Hudson would have been a great pickup here. These are 2 guys playing second pairing minutes. We got Dylan Samberg. All right, then. Now, I'm not going to lie. I am so incredibly disappointed. Josh Morrissey, I knew for a fact we weren't going to get you. Like, you're not going to be playing second pairing minutes. But you're telling me our best option here is Dylan Samberg, 82 overall. Now, that's got to be a joke. How did we get Dylan Samberg? So we ended up adding a second pairing defenseman to the team, but it was Dylan Samberg. Nothing against Dylan Samberg. Normally when I do a rebuild, I end up picking him up. The only issue is when I do pick him up, the plan is for him to play third pairing minutes. He is now playing first pairing minutes for us. We might be in a little bit of trouble. Now, Dylan Samberg did help us do one thing, and that's score a couple more goals this season. 62 goals on the season, but we're still not even a goal per game. Riley Smith's going to lead the way with 53 points, so he had a great year. Troy Terry had a great year. Cole Koepke had a great year. And even Samberg wasn't terrible. He had 18 points, 3 goals, 15 assists, but this team is still terrible. Like, we're the worst team in the entire league by far. We can't even win a game yet. We can't even score a goal per game. This team's still a long ways away from winning some games, let alone a Stanley Cup. But we're going to change that immediately here with our next spin. It looks like we're adding a fourth line center. Okay, I just spoke too soon. Now, like, I was really thinking we were going to bring a top 6 player to the team, and instead we got a fourth line center from the Carolina Hurricanes. Now, best case scenario, someone like Sebastian Aho for some reason was on the fourth line. Clearly that is not the case here. Instead, we're going to be walking away with Mark Jankowski. Mark Jankowski is going to be the next player we're bringing to the team. Can we get a steal? Like, can we bring in a superstar of some kind? Like, if we got third line left winger, we would have somehow walked away with Svechnikov. I would have been perfectly fine with that, but nope. Mark Jankowski. So Mark Jankowski is going to be joining the team next, but we got to turn things around here. Like, we need some superstars here, and Mark Jankowski is clearly not the guy for us. He is the lowest overall in the Carolina Hurricanes. You're kidding me, right? You're telling me we got the lowest overall player on the Carolina Hurricanes. No, we really can't catch a break. Like, this is ridiculous. So we finally got our first center, and that's going to be Mark Jankowski, 79 overall. He's going to be playing alongside Riley Smith and Troy Terry. Cole Koepke, I guess you're going to play some second line minutes here. There's not really too much I can say about this team to gas us up, because we're bad. Like, we're very bad. Like, I'm starting to get a little bit concerned here. Like, we've added 7 players to the team, and we're still incredibly bad. Like, yeah, we don't have a goaltender here, and yeah, we don't have any superstars, but even the bottom 6 players, the third pairing defense, and even the second pairing defenseman that we've got so far, we haven't got anything amazing. I mean, I guess we got Troy Terry, but outside of Troy Terry, the team's looking rough. Now, I just want to point out, we replaced a 0 overall player with Mark Jankowski. We scored 63 goals this season. I don't recall exactly how many goals we scored last season, but it was in the 60s as well. I think we scored either 1 or 2 goals more or 1 or 2 goals less. This team was not any better with the addition of Mark Jankowski, even though he replaced a 0 overall player. I don't really understand how replacing a 0 overall player with Mark Jankowski doesn't make us significantly better, but I guess we're just not going to ask questions here. The team is still terrible. We're still not making the playoffs. We need something to change here, and we need something to change pretty quick. So please, please, please give me a number one center here, and then give me a superstar. A first pairing right defenseman isn't the end of the world, especially if we get a superstar. Like, we can't afford to land on a team that doesn't have a superstar. The Florida Panthers will work. Actually, I might have to take that back. Florida might not work. Now, Florida's selection isn't going to be quite as good as I thought. Ain't no way Jussi Puljujarvi is playing on the first line. I'm sorry, that is not true. I refuse to believe Jussi Puljujarvi is currently playing first line minutes for the Florida Panthers. That's just not happening. But Seth Jones is the defenseman we're walking away with. It could have been significantly better, but it also could have been way worse. Because the very first player that came to mind when we landed on the Florida Panthers, Aaron Ekblad. We actually can't get Aaron Ekblad because he's out. He's not out with an injury. He's suspended for the rest of the year. So yeah, thanks Ekblad. You're helping me a ton. Now, you know what? Not getting Aaron Ekblad here actually isn't the end of the world, because him and Seth Jones are the same overall. They're both 87s. So yeah, we have a new highest rated player on the team, Seth Jones, 87 overall. Now, I'm okay with 87 overall Seth Jones, but considering this was our first pairing right defenseman slot, not the greatest selection in the world. Like, we missed out on a lot of good players. Cale Makar was available. We could have gotten 95 overall Cale Makar. You know who else we could have gotten? From the New York Rangers, we could have been walking away with Adam Fox, 92 overall. But instead, we missed on both of those guys for 87 overall Seth Jones. I guess we'll make it work. Now, I am starting to get a little bit concerned. Like, we have 4 of our 6 defensemen right now. We can't win with this third pairing. I'm going to be completely honest. Unless we bring in some absolute superstars in these next couple spins, I think it's going to take us way longer than we expected. Now, until we get a goaltender here, this team's going to see very little success. Basically, 0 success whatsoever. Once again, an 0-82 season. We can't win any games here. When it comes to the offense, though, we're now averaging over a goal per game. We picked up 92 goals this season, but that means absolutely nothing if we're still allowing over 1,500. We're allowing 1,500 plus goals. It's getting ridiculous here. Troy Terry, 60 points this season. Riley Smith, 59. Jankowski, 52. But as I just mentioned, none of this matters. Why does none of this matter? Because these two guys here are allowing way too many goals. 649 goals from Eric Hartman. 636 from Ricky Lafleur. That's unacceptable. We can't win with that. It's going to be impossible to win with that. The Winnipeg Jets are Stanley Cup champions. I would like Connor Hellebuyck, but instead we got Dylan Samberg. Shout out Dylan Samberg, I guess. No, but real talk, I need a superstar goalie here. You better give me a starting goaltender and then give me a superstar. You know what? Give me a third line left winger, because we haven't got enough bottom 6 pieces yet. Like, seriously, how are we not getting top 6 players? It's honestly ridiculous. The Washington Capitals, okay, we could potentially be walking away with a pretty solid player. Washington has some guys here. Now, I need something here, Washington. I need you to give me something pretty solid, and Mangiapane's just not that. We're bringing Andrew Mangiapane to the team. I would have liked Connor McMichael. I would have liked Ovechkin, Dylan Strome, Pierre-Luc Dubois, Ryan Leonard even. I actually can't get Ryan Leonard, but that's neither here nor there. Tom Wilson, even Protas, but Protas is hurt right now, so we can't get him. So instead of any of those players right here, we got Mangiapane. Like, you're really the same overall as Lars Eller. Lars Eller is 35 years old. Mangiapane, you're not really that old. I guess you're 28 years old, but even still, that's a 7-year difference. Yeah, there were way better options. So we almost have 2 complete forward lines while already having 2 defensive pairings. But what don't we have? A goalie. I have made this abundantly clear. We need a goalie here. This team will not do anything until we have a goalie. So this season is going to go by really quick. Alright, so not only did we not win any games, we didn't lose any games in overtime, and we actually scored less goals this season. We are barely above a goal per game. Like, literally 1 goal above a goal per game. Troy Terry, 46 points, led the way. Riley Smith, 44. Jankowski, 35. This team regressed across the board. The Dallas Stars are going to be our Stanley Cup champions. Let's go add a new player, and it better be a goalie. Or a superstar. No in between. You know what? I know what's going to happen here. I know exactly what's going to happen here. Never mind, I was completely wrong. So what I was going to say is, I want either a superstar or a goalie. So what was going to happen? I was going to get a goaltender, and I was going to get the San Jose Sharks starting goalie. That's what I was thinking was going to happen after I made that comment. But nope, we're getting a second line right winger. Please land on the Dallas Stars. If we land on Dallas, we're getting Jason Robertson or Miro Heiskanen. There is no losing in that situation. So give me Dallas, 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 give me Dallas. That is a team I don't want. Because you have to remember, injuries are a thing. Connor McDavid and Leon Draisaitl are not up for grabs. Who is Edmonton's second line right winger? I think it might be Podkolzin or Arvidsson. One of the two. No, this is a joke, right? This has to be an absolute joke. You're telling me the second line right winger on the Edmonton Oilers currently, with McDavid and Draisaitl out, is Corey Perry. Podkolzin is playing first line minutes. Now, if something were to happen and Leon Draisaitl and Connor McDavid missed the entire season, this team, without a doubt, is going to be dead last in the entire league. Corey Perry is the guy I'm bringing to the team. Ain't no way. Also, I just thought I'd clear this up. Jason Robertson's actually a left winger. I think he switches between the left and right side. Yeah, so we wouldn't have been able to get Mikko Rantanen either because we got Troy Terry as our first line right winger. This team is gonna stink. I'm absolutely sick to my stomach right now. We land on the Edmonton Oilers, and we're not bringing any of these players to the team. Nope, we are gonna be walking away with 80 overall Corey Perry. Janmark would have been better. Kasperi Kapanen, Adam Henrique, Trent Frederick, Brett Kulak, Jeff Skinner, Victor Arvidsson, Stuart Skinner, Evander Kane, Darnell Nurse, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Jake Wallman, Zach Hyman, Matthias Ekholm, Evan Bouchard, Leon Draisaitl, Connor McDavid. All of those were better options from the Edmonton Oilers. Who did we get? Corey Perry. There's nothing to say about this. You know what? We're spinning the wheel again. We're not even wasting our time. Corey Perry was the player we're walking away with, and we couldn't even get a backup goalie. We got a third line center instead. This game is a joke. This thing wants me to lose. All right, please, please, please. All I'm asking for is a really good player. And we landed on the Pittsburgh Penguins, a team that is currently one of the worst in the entire league and really has nothing outside of their first line. Isn't that great? So don't worry, guys. We went from bringing Corey Perry to the team to Blake Lizotte. Like, seriously, this is who we're bringing to the team. We are going to be the worst team in the entire league, even after we get rid of all the 0 overall players. We're still going to be the worst by far. Now, Blake Lizotte, all I'm asking is you to be an 81 overall. At least be at the very minimum an 81 overall. This man is an 80. No, we really can't catch a break. So after adding a third line centerman to the team and a second line right winger, here's what we're looking at. Blake Lizotte, Riley Smith, and Troy Terry as our top line. Corey Perry, Mark Jankowski, and Andrew Mangiapane on the second line. With Cole Koepke on the third line, he's going to play some centerman this season, even though he's only a left winger. Yeah, this is going to be another quick season. Now, it's absolutely stunning, but once again, the Portland Pirates didn't win a single game. I know you're absolutely surprised with those two great additions, and Blake Lizotte and Corey Perry, you thought we were going to be significantly better, but nope, we didn't really do too much more. Corey Perry did have 52 points, though, 26 goals. He was second on our team in goal scoring, so you know what, I got to give it to him. Blake Lizotte, you had 55 points. But yeah, we can't win with you guys in the top 6. And then Eric Hartman, Ricky Lafleur, you guys both allowed over 13 goals per game. So clearly, we're not going to be winning games if we're allowing over 13 goals. The Vegas Golden Knights are Stanley Cup champions. I'm starting to think the Portland Pirates might never get to that point. So we're going to keep on spinning the wheel of positions. And what are we going to be getting next? It looks like we're going to be getting a second pairing right defenseman. Unfortunately, we can't get Nathan MacKinnon from that. We also can't get a goaltender from that position. So yeah, we're just going to keep on adding players that aren't goalies. So I just need a team that has an amazing second pairing right defenseman. The St. Louis Blues, they have talent for sure. So we're going to be all right here. The only unfortunate thing is we're not adding a goaltender and we're not adding a first line center in Robert Thomas. So yeah, there's that. All right, so here's the St. Louis Blues and here's the players that we could have selected. Robert Thomas, Buchnevich, Jake Neighbors, Braden Shen, Jordan Kyrou, even Zachary Bolduc. Shout out to Zachary Bolduc. That's a name that you got to remember. Great young player. He's going to turn to a stud. We can't get Jimmy Snuggerud. I don't think the roster update has come out yet. But when it comes to our defense, we're going to get Nick Leddy. I'm just going to kind of leave it at that. We're getting Nick Leddy, like Justin Falk, Phil Broberg, Cam Fowler, Ryan Stewart, Tyler Tucker. I think I would have preferred all of you guys over Nick Leddy. I'm not a big Nick Leddy fan. And that's who we got. We got basically the one guy I didn't want. So as we all know, the St. Louis Blues are my team. And this is my petition to get Robert Thomas up to a 90 overall. Because ain't no way this man isn't a 90 overall. Have y'all seen the way he's been playing? Since Four Nations, he has the most points in the NHL. Y'all can at least make him a 90 overall. This is Robert Thomas we're talking about. One of the most elite players in the league. He's going to make Team Canada for the Olympic team. Just make him a 90 overall. Show a bit of respect here. When it comes to the defense, though, we're adding Nick Leddy, 83 overall. Just want to point out, Torrey Krug is a higher overall than him. Torrey Krug hasn't played at all this season. He's been hurt the entire year. And he's still higher overall than Nick Leddy. So yeah, there's that. Also, Zachary Bolduc's got to be higher than this 79 overall. I'm sorry. This man's got to be at least an 81 at the very minimum. For the way he's been playing recently, you got to make him an 81. Okay, so this is basically what our defense is going to look like unless we get an absolute superstar. We're going to be looking at Seth Jones as Nick Leddy as our first pairing. Samberg and Struble as the second pairing. And then Philippe Myers and somebody else in the third pairing. We're going to need an absolute miracle. We basically need Vasilevsky, Shesterkin, Sorokin, Carey Price, Henrik Lundqvist, Marty Brodeur all combined into one player. So who is that player? Basically Ricky Lafleur if he didn't have 18 million career-ending injuries. That's why he's a 0 overall right now. This man should be 110 overall. But yeah, he tore both of his ACLs 6 times. Don't even know how that's possible, but here he is. Also, I just want to point out, I'm recording this video while I'm watching the St. Louis Blues game. Robert Thomas just picked up another assist. I believe that is 7 straight games with an assist from Robert Thomas. Make this man a 90 overall. What are we doing here? Ain't no way this man just led us in scoring. I refuse to accept this. Alright, so let's just keep spinning and then hopefully get a goalie here. We're not getting a goalie. We're going to be getting a second line center. Now this could be really good. This also could be the San Jose Sharks or Chicago Blackhawks and we basically get nothing. I'm guessing it'll be either San Jose or Chicago and we get basically nothing. Alright, so which of the 3 worst teams are we going to be landing on here? I called it. I knew it. I knew we were going to get Chicago. Why did I know this? Because it's rigged. This is so incredibly stupid. We're getting Chicago's second line center. Congratulations, stick on the ice. You don't get Connor Bedard. Nope, you get Frank Nazar. 81 overall. Frank Nazar. We'll be lucky if he's an 81 overall. I'm pretty sure he is, but even still. Yeah, that's what we're getting as our second line center. No, so we're really walking away with Frank Nazar here. That's what we're going to get from the Chicago Blackhawks. Not Connor Bedard, not Tyler Bertuzzi, not Teuvo Teravainen, not Alex Vlasic, not even Ryan Donato. Nope, this is what we're going to be getting here. 80 overall Frank Nazar. If we got their 4th line center in Joe Veleno, we actually would have been in a better spot. How is that even possible? No, like this is really one of those teams. Like it's just so incredibly bad. From top to bottom, this is just not a good team. Seth Jones is our highest rated player. We can't trust this team for anything. Actually, we can't trust them for one thing. Losing games, because they're going to lose every one. So it's just never going to end. The Portland Pirates, 0-82. Troy Terry leads the way with 59 points. He was actually tied with Riley Smith, who also had 59 points. Mangiapane, 49. Corey Perry, 46 points. We really can't do it. Like, we really just can't win one game here. I mean, to be fair, until we get a goaltender, we're not winning any games. And even when we get a goaltender, we're still going to lose like 90% of the games we play in. Like, even if we added Vasilevsky to this team, even Connor Hellebuyck, I don't care who it is, even with all of those guys, like we could have a tandem of Vasilevsky and Hellebuyck. We would probably only win like 15 games if we're lucky. We're still really bad. Like there's no way that I keep on losing, right? Like I gotta win eventually. We're getting a backup goalie. Who has the best backup goalie in the league? I don't even know, but at least it's a goalie. You know what? I know exactly what we need here. We need one of the worst teams in the NHL. The Calgary Flames actually aren't a bad selection here, even though we're not walking away with Dustin Wolf. At least we're not going to be significantly losing when it comes to their top forward and top defenseman. Like, yeah, we're not going to be walking away with a superstar from the Calgary Flames. That's very clear here. We're not going to be getting Dustin Wolf. Instead, we're getting Dan Vladar. But imagine we land on a team like the Colorado Avalanche, and instead of bringing Nathan MacKinnon to the team, we had to bring Scott Wedgwood. I would be pretty upset with that. We're going to be missing out on some decent pieces from the Calgary Flames. So Nazem Kadri, Jonathan Huberdeau, Matt Coronado's been playing pretty solid. Blake Coleman's a good option. Mackenzie Weegar, Rasmus Anderson. Like this team still has some good pieces. But none of those pieces are Nathan MacKinnon, and that would have hurt a lot if we lost out on Nathan MacKinnon in order to get Scott Wedgwood. Now, one thing that's actually kind of scary about bringing Dan Vladar to the team, he's tied as the 5th highest rated player on this team. Bro is sitting at an 82 overall, and that's good enough to be tied for our 5th best player. Now, we've been waiting for a moment like this for probably 10 spins now, maybe even 15. We finally got a goaltender, Dan Vladar, 82 overall. You're the starter, and I want you playing all 82 games. Eric Cartman's going to be the backup. Ricky Lafleur needs to rest from those 6 ACL tears. Now we finally added a goalie to the team, and I was expecting this team to win some games this season. And don't worry, they did win some games this season, but they only won 6. Why did I think we were going to be winning like 12 games this season? We can't score goals still. We don't have a great goaltender. We don't have great defense here. We really don't have great anything. But the Portland Pirates, 32nd in the entire league. I am so concerned with the future of this team. Like, we really don't have that many spins left, and this team is still terrible. Like, from top to bottom, we are really, really bad. Like, I'm not saying we have bad players, but considering Corey Perry is almost playing first line minutes for us right now, Frank Nazar is our number 1 center, No hate towards these guys. We just don't have any of them in the right roles right now. Dan Vladar, of course, all 6 wins, even picked up a shutout, an 896 and a 445. If you were to ask me when are we going to win a Stanley Cup, I would say in our first postseason appearance, when we somehow sneak into the playoffs as a wildcard team after finishing 19th overall in the entire league. That's my honest prediction, because something stupid like that would probably happen. Meanwhile, Winnipeg's winning another Stanley Cup here. Let's go add another player. We have 6 more players that need to be added to the team. I wouldn't mind bringing a starting goaltender. No, give me Nathan MacKinnon. You have to give me Nathan MacKinnon. I will not take anyone other than Nathan MacKinnon. Please give me Nathan MacKinnon. Please give me Nathan MacKinnon. Please give me Nathan MacKinnon. Oh my God, we got Nathan MacKinnon. Okay, this changes everything. We have our superstar. We have a guy that we've needed since the very beginning. We got Nathan MacKinnon. Please don't tell me something stupid happened and they have Nathan MacKinnon playing on the second line, or whatever they call the second line. I don't need to see any of that nonsense. So we don't have to deal with any of that nonsense. Nathan MacKinnon, welcome to the team. You have been the guy we've been missing for so long now. So after taking L after L after L after L after L after L, because we've only taken L's so far, we finally took a W. Nathan MacKinnon, welcome to the team, 96 overall. I need you to score about 85 goals and pick up 75 assists. I mean, you probably won't pick up 75 assists because there's no one else on this team that can score. So how about you just pick up 107 goals? That would also work. So we got Nathan MacKinnon, 96 overall, a player we've been waiting for a very long time. But even with the help of Nathan MacKinnon, I don't think we win 10 games this season. Like Nathan MacKinnon, I don't even think you're enough to save this team. So Nathan MacKinnon truly turned this team around. A 17-59-6 record, 31 points off of second last in the entire league, over 2 goals per game now. Nathan MacKinnon did all of this, and he did all of this while having a really bad season. Like, he only had 85 points here. If we could give Nathan MacKinnon a little bit of support, he might be able to carry this team into a wild card spot, and as long as we can make the wild card, we might be able to win a Stanley Cup. I am completely gassing up this terrible team. Dan Vladar did have 3 shutouts though, so I got to give respect where respect is due. He did absolutely everything he could. This team just isn't good. However, this next spin is going to change everything. The Detroit Red Wings, I have no clue how you just won the Stanley Cup. We're going to completely ignore it. And you took on the Pittsburgh Penguins in the conference finals. Okay, this is too unrealistic for me. This spin right here is going to change everything. We are going to get an elite player. We're getting our starting goaltender. Give me Tampa Bay. Give me the Rangers. We can't get the Winnipeg Jets anymore, but I need a superstar. You could say the entire video rides on this selection right here. Who are we going to be getting? Jussi Saros. Jussi Saros is definitely going to be a respectable starting goaltender for us. We're good to go. I guess there's technically one thing I should check. Jussi Saros, are you hurt right now? I'm 99.9% sure you're not hurt right now, but in the event you are, we can't bring you to the team, but luckily Jussi Saros is healthy right now, so he has joined the team. So we got our starting goaltender for the future, the man that we can rely on. That's going to be Jussi Saros, 90 overall, an absolute stud here. He's going to be the second best player on this team. We've got 2 great picks in a row here in Jussi Saros and Nathan MacKinnon. I just know this is all going to come crashing down pretty fast. So we have our goaltending tandem moving forward. 90 overall Jussi Saros, 82 overall Dan Vladar. These 2 guys can hold it down. This is probably the lone spot on our team that actually doesn't have any weaknesses, because when you look at our forward core, there are so many weaknesses here, it's actually ridiculous. When you look at the defense, so many weaknesses, it's ridiculous. When it comes to goaltending though, that's actually a positive. So Jussi Saros, I brought you to the team expecting that we would somehow not be dead last in the entire league. We won 18 games. Yeah, I'm about to give up. I truly am. Like, this team just can't do it. But you know what? I won't give up. No matter what happens, I will never give up on this team. I will never give up on the Portland Pirates. I will get this team a Stanley Cup. I don't care what it takes. One day, the Portland Pirates will be Stanley Cup champions. When is that day going to be? Probably 15 years from now. The Toronto Maple Leafs are winning a Stanley Cup. Ain't no way the Toronto Maple Leafs are winning a Stanley Cup before the Portland Pirates. That's not right. Now, throughout all of this, there is one positive. Besides our 4th line left winger, we still have 3 really good selections. The next selection we're going to be getting is a first pairing left defenseman. I need a star player here. Whatever you do, you have to give me a star. The only concern that I have is we've got 2 great players in a row. Are we going to get 3 great players in a row? The LA Kings. We're not getting a superstar here, but I can work with what we're going to get. To be fair though, that's assuming we're going to get the player that I actually want to get here. And are we going to be getting that player? No, we are not. I wanted Mikey Anderson. We're getting Gavricov. 83 overall Gavricov. So we're walking away with another defenseman. That's going to be Gavricov, and now our defense is complete. Our defense is so incredibly bad, it's actually ridiculous. We could have gotten Mikey Anderson, 85 overall, but nope, we're not going to get him. We're going to get 83 overall Gavricov. Yeah, Gavricov, maybe you'll end up playing some top pairing minutes for us. I'm not even sure though, because technically you and Nick Leddy are the same overall. Yeah, we're in a bad situation here. So our defense has been solidified here. Gavricov, Seth Jones, Samberg, Nick Leddy, Struble, and Myers. I got nothing to say about that. We'll just completely ignore it. Now, Gavrikov, I might have been sleeping on you. We might have finally done the impossible here. Not quite. We were 5 points away from the impossible. A 28, 45, and 9 record. We were almost second last in the entire league. Not only was Gavrikov a huge help, but so was Nathan MacKinnon, 111 points this season, 54 goals, 57 helpers. These are seasons I need from Nathan MacKinnon, season in and season out. I need him to post numbers like this all the time. If he can consistently post numbers like that, we're going to be able to win a Stanley Cup. Jussi Saros, I need better numbers than these though, but if you can sneak us into the postseason, then we at least have a chance. But I think the playoffs are too big of expectations right now. The Edmonton Oilers are Stanley Cup champions. We still got a handful more players to add. So let's figure out which position we're going to be adding next, and it looks like it's going to be a fourth line left winger, so we're not getting too much. So I think ideally, give me a team like the San Jose Sharks. Just give me a really bad team where we're not going to be missing out on an elite player. We're going to be getting a fourth line left winger from the Minnesota Wild. Who do you have to offer? So from the Minnesota Wild, it looks like we're going to be walking away with Trenin. When it comes to fourth line players overall, Trenin's actually not really that bad of a pickup. Like, imagine if we got second line center here and we brought Frederick Gaudreau to the team. Nothing against Frederick Gaudreau, but there's significantly better second line centers out there. So Trenin, this isn't actually that bad. So after bringing Trenin to the team, we're done with bottom 6 players. We have a second line left winger left and a first line left winger. I need 2 studs from those 2 wheel spins. Okay, this is all you have to see. Trenin's playing top 6 minutes for us. That's how bad this team is. On the Minnesota Wild, he's playing fourth line minutes. On the Portland Pirates, he's playing second line minutes. We're in the trenches. Now we finally did it. The Portland Pirates are no longer last in the entire league. 29th with a 34, 39, and 9 record. We've done the impossible here. We have turned this team into the 29th best in the NHL. We're no longer the worst. Our first line was great with Nathan MacKinnon leading the way. What we really need here is another superstar. From our next 2 wheel spins, I need 285 overall plus. I actually take that back. I need 289 overall plus players. If we can bring in 2 superstars, we actually might have a chance of making the playoffs. Jussi Saros, you did what you could this season. You were actually a really good goaltender for us. The Toronto Maple Leafs are winning the Stanley Cup once again here. The conference finals consisted of all Canadian teams, with the Winnipeg Jets taking on the Edmonton Oilers, the Toronto Maple Leafs taking on the Ottawa Senators. This is out of hand. Like, seriously, 4 Canadian teams in the conference finals. Something's wrong here. We're going to be getting a first line left winger. Give me Artemi Panarin or something. Like, I need somebody of that caliber. So it all comes down to this. This spin is going to dictate how much success we're going to see in the future. Tampa helps us a lot. We're getting ourselves a superstar here. This changes everything. So from the Tampa Bay Lightning, we're not walking away with Nikita Kucherov. I would have been perfectly fine with Nikita Kucherov, but instead, Jake Guentzel. Now, Jake Guentzel, still an amazing player, and if he's on the top line alongside Nathan MacKinnon, we might be able to score enough goals to finish in the wild card. Now, I might be putting way too much pressure here on Jake Guentzel. Like, saying this man is going to single-handedly turn us into a wild card team, yeah, it's way too much pressure for him. Like, I don't think 90 overall Jake Guentzel is going to help us win additional, like, 15 games. That's not realistic. So Nathan MacKinnon, Jake Guentzel, Troy Terry, I'm putting a lot of pressure on you 3 guys. You have to single-handedly get us into the postseason. And I can't even say the defense is really going to help you too much here. 87 overall Seth Jones, he'll do what he can. The rest of these guys just have to play their role here. Meanwhile, Jussi Saros, stand on your head. Now, I put way too much pressure on Jake Guentzel. Like, realistically, we were not winning a Stanley Cup this season. We weren't making it into the wild card. We still have a 0 overall on the team. However, that's going to change right now. We're going to have ourselves one more wheel spin. We're adding a second line left winger, and then this team's going to be complete. But of course, the team probably still won't be able to win a Stanley Cup, so we might have to change things up a little bit in the future. But until then, let's go spin that wheel one more time. The Edmonton Oilers Stanley Cup champions. Portland's going to be taking it home next season after we get another superstar. So we know we're going to be walking away with the second line left winger, but from which team? The Philadelphia Flyers. Wouldn't have been my first choice. You know what? I gotta take it back. Michkov has joined the team as their second line left winger. I'm not going to complain about that. I will not complain whatsoever with Michkov. Welcome to the Portland Pirates. So we're adding one more player to the team, and then the Portland Pirates are going to be complete. But I think I can confidently say this team's still not going to be winning a Stanley Cup. Even with 87 overall Michkov brought to the team, it probably won't be enough. So the team's finally complete. Nathan MacKinnon, Michkov, and Jake Guentzel on the top line. Troy Terry, Frank Nazar, and Riley Smith on the second. The bottom 6 does not look great, and the second line also doesn't look great. When it comes to the defense, I wouldn't say any of our pairings actually look that good here. Like maybe the first pairing's okay because we do have 87 overall Seth Jones. But out of all the positions on this team, goaltending is the most solidified. Jussi Saros, Vladar, I can work with both of you guys, and I know you can step up when you have to. So now that we've added 20 players to this Portland Pirates team, is that going to be enough for us to even get into the wild card? I don't think so. But if Nathan MacKinnon has a huge season where he picks up 130 points, it might be possible. Well, it looks like it's finally happened. The Portland Pirates have finally made it into the postseason, 13th in the entire league, a 45-33-4 record. There is no way we're this good. Like, I understand we have no 0 overalls anymore, but there's no way that this team is this good. Like, we're just not great. Trenin 39 points, Seth Jones 44, Mangiapane's picking up 53 here. Like, Corey Perry was playing a critical role on this team, and we're seeing a lot of success. That should tell you everything. But Jussi Saros has been pretty solid so far. 37 wins, 3 shots, a 904 and a 310. So if this man stands on his head in the postseason, we might be able to upset some teams. We're taking on the Anaheim Ducks in the first round. Truthfully, I kind of expect us to get swept. So I have very low expectations heading into this matchup. Like, I'm expecting we're going to get swept here. We're winning game number 2 and game number 3. We've actually split the series so far. Game number 5 is going to be a big one. I'm expecting we're going to lose that. Are we going to make it to the second round in our first postseason appearance? We're going to find out in game 7 because that's where we're headed. So we got game 7 between the Portland Pirates and Anaheim Ducks. Neither of these teams are great right now. So the fact that we're going back and forth with them, not giving me a lot of hope for the future. But we do have a 1-goal lead entering the third period. And in the third period, we're going to allow McGinn to score a shorthanded goal that's going to force overtime. And in overtime, Michkov's going to be picking up a huge goal. So we're actually staying alive. I was fully expecting this team to lose. They surprised me there. What can I say? So in some absolute miracle, we're getting past the Anaheim Ducks. But now we have the Dallas Stars. The 2025 Dallas Stars. We already know we're not winning this. Like, taking down the Anaheim Ducks was one thing, but beating the Dallas Stars, that's another, and we all know that's not going to happen. We won game number 1. We've split the series so far with Dallas. How are we somewhat competing? This makes absolutely no sense. This is realistic. A 7-2 loss, that's what I've been expecting. From game number 1 to game number 6 here, I was assuming we were going to be allowing 7 goals a game, but somehow we're still competing. How are we not getting blown out? We won 4-1 and we just forced game 7. What's going on? Here we go. Game 7 yet again. Can the Portland Pirates steal this one away? Well, Riley Smith's picking up the first goal. Moving into the second period, we really have a 2-goal lead right now. We're not doing this. We're not winning game 7 once again here. Mangiapane's going to be scoring a goal halfway through the third period, and it's going to be the winner. We have made it to the conference finals with this Portland Pirates team. I don't understand it. You know what? We just got to keep on rolling here. Like, the fact that we've made it to the conference finals doesn't make any sense. We're taking on the Winnipeg Jets next. Winnipeg is bound to beat us. We are bound to lose eventually here. We've split the series once again. We all know how this is going to go. We're going to lose game number 5, and then we're going to win game 6, and we're going to win game 7. Portland's just been way too competitive. Like, I don't understand how we're competing as much as we are. It's going to be a scoreless first period. It's a scoreless second period. What's going to happen in the third? We're scoring 2 goals. This is stupid. This is honestly stupid. We're not making it to the Stanley Cup final with this team. Like, that's not happening. There is no way this Portland Pirates team is about to make it to the Stanley Cup final. We have a 1-goal lead after a 3-goal second period. Corey Perry, Trenin, and Blake Lizotte. You gotta be kidding me. Riley Smith picking up a power play goal. There's been a lot of power play goals scored in this one. Overtime's going to settle it, and who's going to score the most important goal? Adam Lowry's picking up a shorthanded goal a minute 20 in. The Cinderella story run has finally come to an end. The Portland Pirates are going to be falling in the conference finals, but this team gave me way too much hope. Like, we made it to the conference finals. There is no way this team should have made it to the conference finals. So with a couple more additions, we might be able to win. Like, that was a special run right there. Nathan MacKinnon, 25 points. Michkov, 21. Jake Guentzel, 16. Mangiapane, 16. Corey Perry picking up 15. I don't know how this team was as good as they were, but they were. Jussi Saros, 11 wins, 1 shot, a 907 and a 331. We're about to add another player to the team, and I think that might be the answer. Alright, so here's the plan. Since we've already done 20 spins and we've gone through and added every player possible to this team, we're changing things up. We land on the Seattle Kraken. I'm allowed to select any second line player from the Seattle Kraken or any second pairing defenseman. I don't want to take first line guys because if I just took the best player on every team, that would be a little bit unfair. But second line guys and second pairing guys, those players would still end up being some of the best on our team. So Seattle, let's see what you got. So here's the options that we have to bring to the team. Jaden Schwartz, Chandler Stevenson, and Jordan Eberle when it comes to the second line. When it comes to the second pairing defense, Jamie Alexiak and Brandon Montour. Brandon Montour Montour is very interesting because I think he'd be our best defenseman. But you know what? I think I'm going to pass up on those guys, and I think I'm going to bring Chandler Stevenson because I think he'd be the highest rated forward. Either him or Jordan Eberle, one of the two. So here's our two options. Brandon Montour, 88 overall. He would be the best defenseman on the team. Or we go with Chandler Stevenson, who would probably end up playing top line minutes for us so we can move Jake Guentzel down to the second line because then we'd have a bit more depth. I feel like there isn't a wrong decision here, but I think our forward core does need significantly more help. So Chandler Stevenson, I think I'm going to go with you. But then again, how many teams have 88 overall defensemen on their second pairing? I'm taking that back. We're going with Brandon Montour. So Brandon Montour is now our best defenseman, sitting at 88 overall. That's going to move Seth Jones down to the second pairing. Our defense is looking a lot better now just because we got rid of a 75 overall and replaced them with Brandon Montour, who's an 88 overall. That doesn't mean our team's ready to win a Stanley Cup, but we have taken a big step in the right direction. Well, I think I made the right decision. We're first in the entire league, a 54, 24, and 4 record. I don't know how we're this good. Then again, I should take it back. I know exactly how we're this good. Nathan MacKinnon, 132 points, 67 goals. Jake Guentzel, 103 points. Michkov's picking up 96. As long as these three guys continue to perform, we're going to win a Stanley Cup. And when it comes to goaltending, Jussi Saros, 45 wins, 4 shots, a 911 and a 277, the best season we've seen yet. The boys are at the top of the league. We're the best team right now, but is that going to translate into the playoffs? We're going to find that out pretty quick. Now, Vancouver's going to be putting up a decent fight here. We're going to be split in the first 4 games. What a surprise. Haven't done that before. So far in every postseason match we've been in, we've split the first 4 games. We're dropping game number 5 as well, and we're facing elimination. First in the entire league, by the way. But to be honest, the only reason we were first in the entire league is because our first line was so incredibly good throughout the entirety of the regular season. They got to continue to be this good heading into the postseason. And you know what? 7 goals is going to be more than enough for forcing Game 7. So here we go. Game 7, taking on the Vancouver Canucks. Portland needs to win this in order to move on to the second round. We're exchanging goals in the first period, while the second period is going to be a scoreless one. So in order to move on, we need the big time players to show up. And is that going to be happening? Well, we haven't seen it yet, but we will see it in overtime because Frank Nazar is going to be picking up the overtime winner. You heard that right. Frank Nazar showing up. Not Nathan MacKinnon, not Jake Guentzel, not Michkov, Frank Nazar. Now, although the first line didn't really perform in that first series, we were still able to get to the second round. If these guys were able to wake up, then we're going to be looking at a Stanley Cup. So we got the LA Kings up next. We need the first line to wake up for this team, and I don't think that's happening. Granted, we have won back-to-back games now. Can we make it 3 straight? Yes, we can. Can we make it 4 straight and move on to the conference finals? It doesn't look like it. We got to go to another Game 7. I don't know why we're going to so many Game 7s, but it doesn't matter as long as we're able to win them. Kuzmenko's going to be picking up the first goal of the game. It's going to be a scoreless second period, so we can definitely make the comeback here if we're able to find the back of the net, and it doesn't look like that's really going to be happening here. I mean, technically we did score a goal, but LA's picking up 2, and it looks like we're finally going to be eliminated in Game 7 in the second round. We went from losing in the conference finals to losing in the second round. We're not heading in the right direction. But if I can get one solid postseason out of our first line, I'm talking Nathan MacKinnon, I'm talking Michkov, I'm talking Jake Guentzel. If these guys can be elite for 4 rounds, we'll definitely win a Stanley Cup. If they falter in any way, we're going to be losing in the second round like we did this season. Jussi Saros, your numbers couldn't have been any better. A 924 and a 266. But what let us down? The fact that the first line wasn't good enough. But I think it's pretty unfair that we're only relying on our first line, so let's change things up here. We're going to be getting Vancouver, and I can tell you right now, we're bringing a forward to the team. And my first pickup right off the rip was going to be Brock Besser, but unfortunately we can't do that because he's playing first line minutes, no surprise there. So we're going to have to go with the next best option, and that's going to be Jake DeBrusk. So we were able to finish first in the entire league thanks to our first line. But now our first line is going to be getting a little bit of support here. 85 overall Jake DeBrusk is going to be joining the team, or do we go with 85 overall Connor Garland? I don't think you go wrong with either of these selections, but I think Jake DeBrusk would bring a bit more to the team. The only reason I say that is we already have Troy Terry playing on the right side, so it wouldn't really make sense to bring in another sniper in Connor Garland, so we're going with Jake DeBrusk instead. So with Jake DeBrusk added to the team, really all we're missing when it comes to the top 6 is an elite centerman. Trenin, you're the guy that I'm having to rely on right now. I'm not a huge fan of that, but ever since I brought you to the team, you've been pretty solid, so I think you can step up when it matters. So once again, the Portland Pirates sit at the top of the league first with a 53, 24, and 5 record. The team's still looking good, but whether or not that depth can actually step up for us, that's really the only question mark for this team. Like, the first line's great and all. Like, we have a superstar first line. Jake Guentzel, Michkov, Nathan MacKinnon, you know those guys are going to hold it down. But when it comes to guys like Riley Smith, Mangiapane, Jake DeBrusk, Troy Terry, in the important games, can they be the guys for us? Well, we're going to find out pretty quick. Jussi Saros, 43 wins, 3 shots, a 915 to 270. He was great once again. I have no questions about what Jussi Saros can do for us. I have no questions about what Nathan MacKinnon can do for us. In regards to everybody else, y'all still have to prove yourselves. Now, I don't care what our record is. I don't care how good we are. We're taking on the Colorado Avalanche in the first round. This is definitely not going to be an easy matchup whatsoever. We're splitting the series with Colorado. Where have I heard that before? I have never split a series with a team before. Yeah, it just never happens. Nope. We're off to game 7. We've also never heard that before. No, like seriously, what's with splitting the first 4 games and always going to game 7? I feel like that's happened way too many times in this video. We're trailing entering the third period. We're about to be eliminated here, but Jake DeBrusk is going to score a massive third period goal, and now we need an overtime winner from somebody. Who's going to step up and get the overtime winner? Nobody. So who's going to step up and get the double OT winner? It looks like it's going to be Erik Johnson. We lost to Erik Johnson. Okay, let's spin the wheel again. Now, if we're somehow able to walk away with an elite centerman here, I think that's going to solve all of our problems. The Ottawa Senators aren't too bad. I can live with that selection. Now, the second I saw the Ottawa Senators, I knew immediately who we were going to be bringing to the team. A great young piece for them. Somebody who's going to develop into a star. Dylan Cozens. Now that you're free from Buffalo shackles, you're going to turn into a 120-point player. I might be over-exaggerating a little bit, but now the bro's not in Buffalo, it's time for him to unlock his potential. Now, unfortunately, the only thing with Dylan Cozens is Buffalo ruined this man, so now he's an 84 overall. However, he is going to be able to round out our top 6, and I think we're ready to win now. Alright, so we have the top 6 now. With the addition of Dylan Cozens, I can actually rely on this team. When it comes to the bottom 6, that's not looking that bad. Riley Smith's actually where he should be. He's a third-line right winger. Now he's playing third-line right wing minutes for us. The team still doesn't look amazing. Like, the bottom 6 has a lot of question marks here, but I think this top 6 is enough for us to win. Now, this might actually be a good sign for us. So we regressed this season to 6th in the entire league, but you have to remember, the 2 times we were 1st in the entire league, we didn't see nearly as much success compared to that time we were 13th in the entire league. So maybe 6th in the entire league is the spot you want to be in. Is this flawed logic? Absolutely. But Nathan MacKinnon had 120 points and had 65 goals in the process, so who am I to question anything about this team? When it comes to goaltending, Jussi Saros, one of the worst seasons I've seen from you, an 894 and a 336. All I need you to do is put up Dan Vladar numbers, and we're going to be walking away with the Stanley Cup. It's actually pretty simple. We're taking on the Edmonton Oilers in the first round, though. They got McDavid, they got Draisaitl. It's not going to be easy. If we can get past McDavid and Draisaitl, though, I do believe in this team. However, if anyone's going to put up a big fight, it's going to be the Edmonton Oilers. They've taken 3 straight games from us. Let's just accept the L here. We're not making this comeback. We're falling in 5 games. Spin the wheel. So maybe Dylan Cozens just wasn't the guy for us. Maybe he wasn't good enough to be our second-line center. Hopefully somebody on the Columbus Blue Jackets can step up for us. Now, there's 2 players I'm contemplating right now. One of them is Adam Fantilli. He could play some good bottom 6 minutes for us. However, the other player I'm looking at, Ivan Provorov. He could play on the left side, so we would have a better number 1 pairing left defenseman. Then we can move Nick Leddy down to either the second or third pairing. That would give us more defensive depth here. Ivan Provorov, I think you're the guy we go with. So Ivan Provorov, I think, is going to be the guy for us. Unless Adam Fantilli is like an 86 overall, which he isn't, and that should be enough. Then again, I have said that for the past 3 years now, and it's never been enough. So Ivan Provorov, you're going to be a number 1 pairing defenseman for us, playing alongside Brandon Montour. That means Seth Jones is going to be playing with Gavricov, and Nick Leddy is going to play with Samberg. The defense is certainly better than it was before with the addition of Provorov. We lost a 78 overall and replaced him with a 75. I don't care how good this team looks during the regular season. None of that translates into the playoffs. You could win 82 games in the regular season and still get swept in the playoffs. Win the important games and we'll be Stanley Cup champs. So Portland had another great season, second in the entire league, a 52-23-7 record, but we have to win a Stanley Cup this season. I'm tired of this team folding when it matters most. Like, we actually have a decent team now. I'm actually very surprised to say that the Portland Pirates aren't terrible, because after those first 15 spins, I didn't think it would ever be possible for us to win a Stanley Cup, but then we got lucky. Nathan MacKinnon, Michkov, Jake Guentzel, we were able to bring in Jussi Saros. We went through a 5-spin stretch where we actually got a handful of really good players, and now that we have these players, we're able to compete. Can we win a Stanley Cup though? Well, that's a question that hasn't been answered yet. Now, to an extent, I guess that question has been answered. Can we win a Stanley Cup? The answer is no, because we haven't won one yet. However, things can change right here, because if we win a Stanley Cup this season, then clearly we can win a Stanley Cup. But we are facing elimination right now, so that's not ideal. So Portland, how about you start scoring some goals? I need the top players on this team to find the back of the net. The top players haven't found the back of the net here, but if the depth pieces can win this for us, I'm not going to complain. So we stole game number 6 away, 3-2. Can we steal another game here and make it to the second round? Nathan MacKinnon and Jake DeBrusk are picking up 2 straight goals. Adam Larson and Gavricov are going to be exchanging in the second, so we still have that 2-goal lead. I think we should be able to hold on to it unless there's a massive collapse here. There almost was a massive collapse. technically was a massive collapse at one point, but don't worry, Mangiapane's picking up a goal halfway through the third period and we're going to be advancing. So we stole game 7 away from the Minnesota Wild, and that game was way closer than it should have been, but hopefully the team's woken up and they've actually figured out how to play. So we've won back-to-back games. How about we just make it 6 straight games, sweep the Vancouver Canucks, and move on to the conference finals. We were actually pretty close to sweeping the Vancouver Canucks, but we lost one overtime game, but don't worry, we'll just close it out in 5 games and move on. So that second round against Vancouver is giving me a bit more confidence, but this is going to be our toughest task by far. We got the 2025 Dallas Stars, and with this team being 100% healthy, they're certainly one of the best in the game. So we've made to the conference finals once before, but we ended up falling. This time it's going to be we allowed 10 goals. We just allowed 10 goals. All right, we're done here. We're not making this comeback. We're going to fall to the Dallas Stars. Y'all didn't just allow 10 goals in game number 1 and then proceed to make a 3-1 series comeback. All right then. So this team was in the utter trenches, allowing 10 goals in game number 1 of the conference finals. And here we are sweeping the Carolina Hurricanes. We won 7 straight games. The Portland Pirates are Stanley Cup champions. This team just did things the most difficult way possible and still found a way to win. Now, a lot of surprising things happened during this postseason run, but when it came to our leading scorer, I think that's got to be the most surprising. Michkov, 26 points, 11 goals, 15 assists, more points than Nathan MacKinnon. This man really outscored Nathan MacKinnon. Jake Guentzel, 20 points. Jake DeBrusk, 16. Riley Smith, 16. Even Corey Perry's picking up 11 points here. This was by far one of the most interesting videos of all time, just based on how things went for us. Through the first 15 spins, we got like 2 good players. Like when we were able to select a second line right winger, you're thinking in your head, you're probably going to walk away with at least an 84 overall, maybe an 85 or an 86. What did we get? We got Corey Perry. 80 overall Corey Perry, one of the lowest overalls on the Edmonton Oilers. That's what we got to walk away with. But even with all those hardships, we still won the Stanley Cup. This team really did the impossible.